Welcome to the Dave Pamah Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Pamah.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Pamah Show. And with me in this episode, I have Stephen Paul Edwards, who is an international speaker and has a PhD in spiritual counselling, who went from a gritty upbringing in Blackpool to a life-altering spiritual awakening in Florida, now revealing the raw, unfiltered story behind his explosive new book, The Venus Flytrap, a powerful case study of how obsession, control, desire, and emotional blindness can shatter identity and ultimately lead to profound self-discovery. Stephen Paul Edwards, welcome to the Dave Pamah Show.
Thank you so much for having me, Dave. I was listening to your intro, then I was thinking, wow, I want to meet this guy.
Well, that's the second in a row I had a very nice compliment about the intro. I've been practicing it like television chat show. It's better to give them that nice rock star intro really and enter the stage.
No, you've been practicing, man. Those are great.
Actually, it is a natural there. I'm a natural. Yeah, a very interesting name you got for the book, Venus Flytrap. I had one of those when I was a kid, actually, when I was getting into plants.
Did you really?
Animals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. They are
50.
an interesting plant. But it's an interesting story. I didn't necessarily give the book the title. She did inadvertently. She didn't even know she was doing it. It was a pretty amazing story of how we first met.
Okay.
So we met online, and so we went back and forth, as you do, right? And,
of course.
I was kind of intimidated because, she's this beautiful, almost 6-foot supermodel, former supermodel, right?
Yeah.
I probably got no chance, right? But then I thought, well, we got to lose. She can't see.
Yeah.
So I went bantering backwards and forwards, and as you know, I love to joke around. So she'd agreed to go for a coffee with me, right? That was it. She did that one day, and the next day she canceled. I'm like, oh. So I've got to find. I got her to agree to go on a date, but I'm like, I got to tie this down. I don't want to get canceled again, right? So we were texting backwards and forwards, and so I asked her. I said, "What's your favorite flower?" To say, I'm going to buy you flowers, so you can't cancel right now, right? Kind of thing. And so she said, "My favorite flower is the bird of paradise." Like I say, I like to joke around, so I said, "Nuh-uh. Mine too." And then I said, "It's a bit expensive though, so what's your second favorite?" As a joke, right?
Yeah.
Came back within seconds, Dave. I tell you, man, within seconds, Venus Flytrap.
In what sense? She got you like that?
Well, she wasn't meaning that. She was saying the second favorite was the Venus Flytrap. But
okay.
She also knew what the Venus Flytrap is. So she was this dichotomy. This beautiful bird of paradise.
Yeah.
Also the Venus Flytrap. And I knew that in that instant, my intuition told me, you better be careful because she's got this darker side to her nature. But in spite of that, I just went, I'm going for it. Sometimes those things that tell you that are going to be a little scary, a little bit adventurous, a little bit risky, you want to do it even more, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously you started doing it, Stephen, but obviously as your journey spans leaving England for Florida, decades of spiritual counselling, and now revealing this deeply personal story in the book, The Venus Flytrap. You've taken us a little bit already into the story, but take us back a bit more to the moment when that intense relationship began to walk us through how two successful and self-aware people slowly became caught in a web of obsession, control, and unconscious patterns that ultimately triggered the identity collapse and spiritual awakening that changed your life.
Yeah. So the whole point of talking about that stuff is to make it even funnier, right?
Yeah. No. Well, make it even more funnier. I don't mind.
Spiritual awakening.
I'm a very humorous person myself, so that's the idea of these podcasts.
And yet went into this very toxic relationship, right? So there was a number of factors that played into it, but the bottom line is, obviously, there were things I needed to learn about myself that I hadn't. And so this opportunity and this experience came along to help me, right? That I have a belief that nothing happens to you, everything happens for you. It's easy to say, it's different to live, right? Because then when everything is going great, yeah, I created that, right? But then when it's something terrible, you're not necessarily as eager to take responsibility for it. So I drew it all into my life. It was a gift to me. I'm very grateful that it happened, but going through it was not quite as easy.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, there were trade-offs. It was an incredible love affair, but it was also riddled with madness and mayhem, right? That were very destructive. So I was going through my fourth divorce, right?
Four? Are you a Hollywood movie star or something? They divorce like it's going out of fashion over there, don't they?
No, right? No, I wish it was because of the Hollywood movie star. It's basically because I'm an idiot, right? So anyway, people say to me, you have 4 wives, right? 4 wives. Yeah. What was wrong with them all? Yeah. And I go, well, actually, it's a simple mathematical equation.
Yeah.
4 wives, 4 marriages, right? And only one of me. So you do the math, right? It was me that was the problem, right? So, and all these things that I talk about in the book, the traumatic childhood, the traumatic days of school, and getting diagnosed as being a manic depressive, or we call that now bipolar.
Yeah.
And so carrying all this, not feeling worthy, not feeling supported, the shame, because back when I was diagnosed with a mental illness, it wasn't something that was accepted by society.
Yeah.
You were an outcast. You were, there was something wrong with you that made other people not necessarily want to be around you. You know what I mean? Like today, mental illness is much more accepted than it was back then. So keeping that a secret, keeping that away from other people, keeping that away from my relationships. Because how do you tell your girlfriend, that you're a manic depressive? They're going to run out the door, right?
Yeah.
So those things combined, I carry with me all my life. I grew up wanting to run away from home, which I did numerous times.
Yeah.
But they kept catching me and bringing me back, right? But in the end, I was able to leave. But what I didn't realize for a long time, Dave, I wasn't running away from a physical home. I am my home.
Yeah.
We are our home. And I was...
Well, exactly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, your journey is inside you, isn't it? Don't matter where you lay your hat. That's your home.
Absolutely. Yeah, my home,
yeah.
And so what I eventually realized, I was running away from myself. And so I had a career of traveling the world and speaking and doing all these things and looking forward to that adventure every time I went there. But really, I was running away from myself. So at some point, I had to face myself, face my demons, and rather than just trying to heal everybody else out there in the world, but actually focus some time on me and healing myself. And so this experience, this memoir, as I tell it, was that opportunity for me to finally turn around and face myself. And I know you've heard this before, that we all attract all these things into our lives. And sometimes we attract what we call a master teacher into our lives. And she was a master teacher for me. I learned more from her and our experiences. I worked with Tony Robbins and many others.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was a speaker for him for a number of years.
Yeah.
I learned an immense amount from Tony. Obviously, how could you not, right? You're immersing yourself in that technology and those philosophies. But I would say I learned more about who I really am from this experience than any of the things I've been through. And that was her gift to me. At a soul level, she's come into this life to be that teacher. So I'm very grateful to her for that. I don't want to go back, right? I'm not going to go again, but I'm better because I did.
Yeah. Well, that is some good answer. Obviously, a lengthy answer to that. I mean, there's a lot been going on in that relationship, wasn't there? I mean, from what I read on in the bio and the information, obviously from your agent or PR company. So, I mean, you know, there was obsession, web obsession, control. You know, can you tell us about those things that that triggered the identity collapse?
Yeah. Okay. Well, a little bit about background,
and then, of course, for the purposes of our listeners, you know, give us the spiritual awakening that actually changed your life.
Yeah, sure. Well, I spent most of my life being broke, right? So I found my passion, which was speaking, and money has never been a focus of my life. You know,
I mean, you came from Blackpool so you moved to Florida with no money. Is that correct then?
Well, not quite. By the time I moved to America, to the United States, I wasn't living in Blackpool.
Sorry.
Living closer to the Midlands, and I lived all over because I was, like I said, I spent my life running away. Right, I lived just about everywhere. Right.
Did you live in London?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know that pretty good.
Some interesting areas. I lived in Golders Green for a while.
That's where I worked as a firefighter all around. That was my first posting. West Hampstead. Well, that was my station, my first ever station. Yeah.
So I lived in various other parts.
I'm in East Midlands now. I'm Northamptonshire. Really? Yeah, I'm in Northamptonshire.
I lived in Sutton Coldfield.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's further north. Yeah.
Aston. Yeah. So like I said, you name a city, I'm probably there.
You're in America now, so yeah.
I'm in America.
A lot of my listeners are from there anyway. So.
Are they? Well, I lived in, but I've actually spent time in 48 of the 50 states.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I said that I'm running away, I'm not kidding.
Let's get back to the broke situation.
So, what was the question again, Dave?
So you're just talking about your beginnings, how you kind of started off broke.
And so I found myself in a situation where, because of my speaking, and I became very successful at it, I was making a lot of money, you know. And so I lived in a mansion with a sex room, right? I had a sex room in the mansion that nobody knew about.
You made that sex room, or it was just there?
No, I made it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I usually had one. And anyway, so going through this, living a life that you might think, well, it sounds like Hugh Hefner, right? It was a great life, and she came into it, and we had a great time. But along that journey, there were a lot of things that were happening that were huge red flags, right? But I kept justifying it, saying, it's not going to be forever. I know it's not going to be forever, and I'm just going to enjoy her for as long as I can, right? And so I was the fly, and she was the Venus flytrap. And so she came from an interesting background. Like I was in an asylum at 16, so was she. Her father put her in an asylum at 16. And so she hated her father. She was incredibly beautiful. So if you think, you know, as a woman, as a young girl, if your father doesn't love you, who's going to love you, right? So she grew up with not feeling worthy. And so when men were coming around her like flies, she just thought, well, you want me for his sex. You don't want me for me because I'm not lovable. Yeah. And so she hated men.
Yeah.
So her MO was to find men, wealthy men, and take them for everything, which she'd done numerous times before. Of course, I had no idea of this at the beginning, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So by going through the experience, you say, well, what did you learn? You know, well, I learned what I was attached to, and I learned how to let go of it. Right? I learned that either I am worthy, right? I learned that I am worthy, that I don't need anybody else. Even though I'd say that to people, it's one thing to know it, it's another thing to live it, right? So actually less is more, right? So I had everything, but actually not having all that gives you freedom that you can't have. You know, possessions, the word possessions, what is it? Possess.
Yeah.
The more you own, the less you have, right? Because you got to think about keeping it, getting the next thing, or whatever it is, right? So that was a profound experience. And just that also, sometimes love isn't enough.
Yeah.
You can love someone, but you have to love yourself more.
Yes, well, you love yourself before. I mean, obviously, it's self-love is, yeah. I mean, not to the point where you get arrogant and, you know, things like that, you know, just from a self-esteem point of view and everything else like that. really, because at the end of the day, if you don't project confidence anywhere, it's really going to be a kind of game loser straight away, isn't it?
More is not arrogant.
It's an inner game. It's an inner game situation. That's
So you're going to love yourself more because you can't. If you don't, you'll become reliant on somebody else for your happiness.
Yeah, and then that becomes more of a anyway, I'm not a relationship coach, but I mean, obviously, I look at coaching overall.
My belief now, Dave, is that you've got to love your creator first, whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. You have to love that more than anything else, right? Because you are a part of that. And then, so number one is God, your creator, Allah, whatever you want to call it. Number two is you. And number three is your career and what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Your relationship is a part of that, right?
It's
a part, but not all of that, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So we're going to be able to make that distinction between those things. To have a healthy relationship, it doesn't mean you don't love your partner, but you can't put your partner ahead of those things, because if you do, you're not your authentic self.
Yeah.
And you can't be where I was for so long, where you can recognize your light and the gifts you give to the world, and people might tell you you're amazing, right? But you have to also own your dark side.
Yeah.
We have both, right?
Of course, yeah.
So if you don't love that part of
everyone's got the odd skeleton in the closet. Excuse me a minute. Just fell out, popped out.
So by doing that, Dave, and that's one of the things that happened to me about the book, when you talk about what was your aha moment, is to recognize those things. But then you realize, I know that, but I got to be able to tell everybody else.
Yeah.
I got to let other people know about who I am, the real me, the authentic self. And the way to do that for me was to write a book.
Yeah.
Put it all in the book, because at that point, when you've told the world all about your most humiliating, stupid, shameful, what you think is shameful things, and you put it into a book, what is there left to say about you?
Yeah, that's it.
So now you're completely free. You're free from anybody ever being able to say something that you're worried about them saying, finding something about yourself that you may not want to have them find out. It's all out there, right? And so in life, and you know this, right? People will like you or they won't. You can't, not everybody's going to like you, and they're not supposed to, right? And that is the test. When we try and have everybody like us and love us, then nobody likes us or loves us, because they don't know who you are. You're a candle in the wind trying to be what everybody else wants you to be for you to accept them.
Yeah.
And I see that happens to most people in the world. Most people, probably 99.99% of people in the world, are more worried about what other people think of them than what they think of themselves.
Yeah.
Because society creates that environment, right? And then in order to be what they think everybody else wants them to be, they got to be successful. What does that mean? Well, in society, it means you got to make money. You've got to be strong. You've got to be all these things. And it's not who you are, but how much you have, right?
Yeah.
And for women, they've got to be this beautiful, incredibly beautiful woman in order to get the man they want. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, right? It's not true. But if we believe it's true in our mind, and there's a moment in the book where we both kind of speak it, where she says, we're going to break up. And she says, well, whatever was said. And I said, no, it's not that. And she said, yes, it is. And I said, why do you say that? Because if I was beautiful enough, you would stay.
Yeah.
There it was.
Yeah.
And for me, it was, if I don't have this mansion, I don't have all these things, I don't make all this money, you won't want me.
Yeah. Well, that's a very interesting story and title that we obviously introducing to my guests here. But can you tell, my audience, no, you're the guest. But can you tell my audience where they can...
We're all guests here, right? We're all guests here.
Yeah, exactly. Can you tell my audience before we go where they can find your book and find out more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think my team sent you a link that your audience can click on, and they get a copy of the first three chapters of the book for free, right? So they can get into the book and really understand what it's about, and then see if they want to know more, right?
Yeah.
And then I do relationship and life coaching. And there's a link they sent you there if anybody be interested in. in making sure they don't make the same mistakes I did, that they can have a free complimentary coaching session with me. So those are my gift to your audience. And then there is a website, vft23.com, V for Venus, F for fly, T for trap, VFT23, which we have a ton of other stuff on there that might be of interest to them too.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Stephen, it's really been a great pleasure talking to you today, and always great to speak to a fella. I know you sound more American than British, actually. I can't hear the northern accent, but always great to speak to UK, US, because I get mostly US listeners as well. Probably 50%, but it's global, actually. It's a global show. But thanks a lot for coming and joining us and sharing your story and your book on my show today.
It was a pleasure to be here, Dave. Wonderful to meet you, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Pamah Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.